All right, welcome, humans, to wonderful, wonderful, wonderful time together on the Godly Man's Perspective podcast. I still do. I'm excited. I'm excited, even though my brother doesn't seem excited by his facial expressions. To be with you guys live on YouTube. What's good? So welcome back. Sorry for the weird introduction. This is the Godly Man's Perspective on Marriage podcast. Your host, Jory O'Neill, Terrence D. Wilson. And this week we are bridging the gap. We both have gaps. You see how I did that? It's a place. We both got gaps because we're brother and sister. That's so fun. We are bridging the gap to something special. So you'll hear from some wives of my co-hosts, Donald D. Owens and Terrence D. Wilson. All of us have D's in our middle name. I don't know if y'all noticed that, but we all fam. And so we're going to talk about what it's really like walking with a man through mental health struggles as a wife. We're going to talk about wives' mental health struggles. We're going to talk about men's mental health struggles and take it from a woman's perspective. Yes, I understand this is the men's marriage perspective podcast. But I think it would be fitting to share what the experience is like from the woman's standpoint, for both men to understand what their wives are going through and for women to kind of know how to better support their spouses. So that's a lot, right? I think what are your thoughts on today's topic, Terry? So today we're going to be talking about creating safe spaces. And just so you are aware, just because you're married doesn't automatically make your marriage a safe space for you or your spouse. They are built. And today we're going to talk about some of the elements that are needed to build those safe spaces. So, T, what up?
What up? What up? What up? Man, this is gonna be a great topic. Creating safe space. What is needed to create safe space? What would a man needs to say his home is a safe place? Uh,
We're gonna start slow because that's
yeah.
a big question, right? That's a very large question, and so I like practicals and I like breaking things down into
Oh,
bite-sized chunks.
practicals. I forgot about you and your
Yeah,
practicals.
me and my practice. Listen, if you can't put it into practice, it don't exist. It ain't real. I don't know. It's just theory. I'm not in the theory. I'm in the practicals. And so what
Okay.
what does it look like for what do you need to open up emotionally? Let's start there. Right? So we're creating this safe space. We're creating this atmosphere and this environment of safety for you to be able to share your emotions. What are some elements that help you open up emotionally?
Ooh, I probably would say for me, it would be knowing that my spouse is my partner, like 100%. Like we're building, you know, knowing that what I say is not going to be used against me. Um, what else? I mean, that's like the main thing right there, because sometimes you can say something, and then when you get into an argument, which we had an episode about that fighting fair, uh, it could be you thrown back at you. Oh, that's why you're crazy. So, like stuff like that. So that's one thing to feel safe. Like you got to know that it's not going to be used against you. I don't know the word that will fit that, but that's one thing that I need. I needed to know that once I start talking to you about certain things, it can't be used against me later on, like as a low blow, during a heated. And I don't even, we never really argued. So a heated, I don't even think we ever had a heated discussion. We both don't like arguing, but we do like to make sure that we understand each other. So I can't say it ever got heated, but I've been in situations to where certain things have said had came back as a low blow. So that's one thing we don't do. So I think that made it safer for me to be able to open up a little bit more emotionally, you know.
Okay, so I like paraphrasing because any woman listening to this podcast, she's like, I need some more words. He not being descriptive enough. So what I hear you saying is that you don't want your words to be weaponized and used against you later. And so in creating this safe space for you, you need to feel trusted and not judged, right? If some
No,
I
you did that
listener,
thing. You did that thing. You did that thing right
listen,
there.
15 years to the good in my marriage, boo boo. Yes, like I'm pretty okay with the listening. We getting a little better, but we all right. So paraphrasing, that's my joint. That's I love. But like what I hear you saying is I love that. Like once I went to therapy and once I learned that phrase, I was like, oh, I don't need you no more, lady. Everything is what I hear you saying is, and we're just gonna reframe it. It's gonna be great. Um, at what point did you learn that like Chelsea wanted to hear the hard stuff and not just the highlights? Because I think for a lot of women, like when they say or when they ask the question, "How are you?" It is so nuanced. Like it means so many things, and so it's like fine. Like you could be fine, and then you're like, wait, why is she asking? Maybe I'm not fine. I think I'm fine. I feel fine. What is she really communicating? And so when did you learn that like Chelsea wanted to hear the hard stuff, not just like the highlight reels of your day?
Oh, I think I will have to say maybe a couple of years ago. She probably always been like that, but I'm so, you know, nah, I'm not telling you nothing. You know what I'm saying? So that's so me, but I probably would say I've been dealing with, going on and off for mental health for the past year now. So I probably would say maybe 2 years. I started feeling that way, to where she was somebody I can be like, yeah, okay, let me go ahead and start a little bit of here, a little bit of there. Not telling her too much, but just, and I'll just wait on a response. And it's more of like, okay, so where do we go from here? And I'm like, shit, I don't know. Uh, but then it's like, what can I do to help things a little easier? Like, and I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, what can I do? And then from there it was like, all right, we got this. And then once you start using the word we, it tends to have more power to a marriage and a relationship or a partnership. It's not, all right, I got to make this happen. What can I do? It's all right, what can we do? Like, let's put our heads together to make things flow a little smoother. And it gets rocky. It definitely gets rocky. I mean, my head is not where it should be half the time anyway. It's like, wait, hold. And she like, back here. You know what I'm saying? Back here. Or sometimes I think she'll send a secret weapon in, Cammy, go give your daddy a hug or something like that. You know what I mean? I think she do that, like, or she'd make Liberty come mess with me, something to get me to come back to where we at. So I think it probably was a couple years ago, and she just let me know she was there, and I think that made a big difference.
Okay, so I'm trying to reframe, All right, so you
Dang,
felt
paraphrase.
you feel safe enough to let your guard down when she started changing the way that she spoke about your problems or your issues or what you needed to do, and then joined you in finding the solution. So it went from maybe you feeling targeted or attacked or even blamed to now like, all right, I'm going to share this with you. It's not mine, but because we are one, it is now mine also, right? It's not just yours. And so I think I think that's powerful. So again, I'm trying to figure out like what are the elements, what are the key ingredients to help create safe spaces for men in marriage. And again, The whole premise of this podcast is so that I have a delicious marriage myself. Just like if nobody else gets anything from this podcast, my marriage is amazing. Thanks to my brother and all his delicious insights. And I'm kidding, not kidding. But I think what I'm hearing you say is that one, there needs to be a lack of judgment. Two, you cannot weaponize people's words, use them against them, hold it over their heads. It seems like the third piece of the puzzle is that the way in which you speak about solutions to problems that you may things that you may find to be problems, things that you're right, Chelsea might be like, nah, I don't like that, or that's interesting, or how come, instead of her again placing the blame on you, instead of her making it your problem, instead of her maybe even accusing you, she's like, no, what can I do to help? What can we do to resolve this? How can we move forward from where we are right now? And I think that literally that's is coming alongside you, right? That's entering into the space that you're at. Like she's legit becoming a partner in your mental health journey. She's not a bystander. She's not an outsider. She's trying to get in there with you. I love that. I want to know, like, can you describe the difference? Because I've experienced both on my end and on my husband's end. What is the difference between when you're being honest and then when you're like, I call it doo-doo dumping, where you're just like, you got a whole bunch of feelings and emotions and you're just like, you just throw up on somebody. Like, what is the difference between just like honesty and dumping pain in a destructive way, where like maybe you have overwhelming feelings about something, you have anxiety, you're recalling a similar right interaction, not maybe what's happening right now, a similar interaction maybe in a previous relationship, and the walls go up and like you get in defense mode. Like, what can you kind of can you try to help me understand like what the difference is between when you believe that you're being honest and genuine and authentic versus when you're dumping your pain in a destructive way?
So it's really a very thin line because sometimes when you're doodle dumping, as you say, it's honest. It's coming from an honest place. Um, so it's a real thin line, like because you want. Sometimes we be so bound by emotions that we feel like we're being is we collapsing, and then when we see a light that we can start spewing it out, it just comes out. So it doesn't always mean that it's in a destructive way. It's just sometimes we just have no other way of letting it out. Because you give me a door and I'm trapped and a door open up, I'm running through it. You know what I'm saying? I'm running through it. Like I'm not gonna hesitate. And that's what happens sometimes is that we be so bound up with the emotion, especially if it's a place of where we can let it out. See, that's a bigger thing because if it's coming out due to a force, like somebody, tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me, tell me. Oh, well, you want to know? Well, here you go. Bam. It's still honest. It's how we feel, but the delivery is different. So that can be taken in a negative way, the delivery. So some remember, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. You
Mm.
know, and so I think, like I said, it's not really what we're saying because what we're saying is exactly it's honest. It's how we feel. It's just our delivery. If it's coming from a I want to know with no pressure, when the pressure is on us, when they see the pressure on us and they like, hey, I want to know like what's going on. Tell me. Compared to why you don't tell me what's going on with you. And that's the difference. Because now our delivery is going to be different. Oh, well, you want to know? Well, here you go, bam. You know what I'm saying? Just a stick in my hand. It's that type of energy where when it's being welcomed, like, come on, talk to me. Like, not being a nagging type thing, but hey, look. I see you going through some things. Let me know what it is. Like maybe we can figure it out on how to eliminate X, Y, and Z. We can't get rid of all of those feelings, but maybe we can help like ease the pain of certain ones.
Mm.
Now the delivery is different. Say, well, while I was doing X, Y, and Z, I started feeling lonely. I started feeling depressed. I started feeling like it was just me and only me. I started feeling worthless, hopeless, helpless. Like I just started having all these mixed emotions, and now I'm here,
Mm.
and here is not where I want to be. And not saying in this presence, but in this mindset. I'm in this mindset where I don't want to be.
Mm.
So, um, and then now you just got to work on that, how to get out of it. It's a hole with no ladder sometimes.
Wow. What an analogy. It's like being in a hole with no ladder. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. So there are two words that came to mind while you were talking. The first word was invitation. Sounds like when the care and concern and the questions are presented as an invitation, she's inviting you to share how you feel versus accusation. Um, and the nagging and the pressuring and the pushing and the constant barrage of right. I think for me hearing it and thinking about like, well, what would be the difference between the two? I can say from experience, um, it's a security issue, right? Like if I am not secure in my womanhood, if I'm not secure in our relationship, if I'm not secure in me, I can't invite you to share anything with me. Like I'm not even dealing with my own stuff. So how can I can't help carry your stuff if you know what I'm saying? Like I'm already like hunchback, you know what I'm saying? Like I got a lot of stuff. I can't help you carry your stuff. So it sounds like invitation is not centered on the person inviting. It's an invitation for you to open up and for you to unburden yourself. But it is not an accusation that because you are burdened, that it's my fault. You know what I mean? Like if I'm looking at it again, because I've been a nag, I've been a pressure wife, I've been an accuser, I've been all those things. And now in the space that we're in our relationship, there's an openness and there's a sharing and there's a safe space. And if I continue to just create this atmosphere of invitation, I want to know how you feel because I don't want you to be burdened. And I also understand that sometimes I am the cause of that burden and I take responsibility for that. Like, I'm not going to make you the bad guy because you feel how you feel. Like, all right, and what part of this whole equation do I play? And in identifying that from a space of just like, no, there's no one to blame. This is what it is, and we are where we are. Doesn't matter how we got here right now in this moment. What matters is that, okay, how can we work together to get out of it? Right. And I love the phrase you used. You said, it's not that you don't desire to be in this space, it's you don't desire to stay in this mindset. And I think that's a powerful phrase in itself because mindsets, although powerful, we have the opportunity to choose to move differently despite them.
Right, right.
And I'm not saying it's easy, but that should give us agency. That should give us at least some hope and some courage to be like, okay, I know this is just a mindset. This isn't forever. This isn't like how all the time things are going to be. This is what's happening right now, and I know it's happening here first. So I love that. I love the fact that like during this podcast we get to explore like different nuances inside of marriage, gentle answers, right? Facing the blame. We get to prioritize our spells. These are all previous episodes, by the way, people. And if you get our ebook, you get to read them on any device that you find ebooks on. So all of that ties back to how do we create a safe space? And what I'm hearing at the crux of all of what you're saying, Terry, is that you have to be able to hear the other person without judgment. I have to, as your wife, be able to hear what you're saying without judging and or feeling judged and blamed or accused. And you, in turn, have to be able to share them without feeling judged or blamed and accused. So I
It's
need
a
you to leave
delivery
me.
on both ends.
What you said?
It's a delivery on both ends, like how you deliver, how they invite, if they invite, and how we perceive and we say. Because sometimes it could just come out, and it might come out abrupt, real harsh, you know. And it's not, we don't intend it to come out like that. Well, I don't. I can't say, can't speak on all the men, but I know if a man really love his wife and he cherish her, and everything like that, then he's not trying to hurt her in any way, with his words or with his actions. So, but it just comes out, I tend to pull back, but she tend to keep reaching.
Mm.
Um, and sometimes it is what it is. All of it don't come out, but you give enough to where you like, man. I think about her mental health more than I think about mine sometimes. Because it's mentally, she has to be mentally strong to deal with a man with mental health. And to deal with a man with mental health, he has to be mentally strong and damn near stable to deal with a woman with mental health. And if you both are not mentally locked in, then it's gonna be a mental battle, and everything is crazy. Like it is so crazy because and I don't know if she's gonna be upset, but when she was going through postpartum, like it hit her so hard, and it hit us so hard that we wasn't ready for it. Like
Mm.
I've seen the signs, but I never said, "Hey, you might want to go get help." But when it really started to come out, like, hey man, we might want to do a little bit of searching on what's going on, you know what I'm saying? And then it was like so much on me to where I was like, yo, I don't know if I could mentally deal with this crazy woman right now. But then it was like, well, if it's postpartum, then it's because of me anyway. So it we had to lean on each other at that point, and I really didn't realize that I was having mental issues at that time, because I was trying to be strong for the business, strong for her, strong for the kids, trying to be strong for people at work, you know, uh, so a lot of things was going on. Lost a few friends in the process, to death and suicides and just things like that. And I'm trying to stay in there to be there for her. And it seemed like once I started to collapse, she was picking it up, So I don't know how we managed to pull it off, but we did, thank God for that. But yeah, you have to be, it's a mental battle between two. And it's not like you're battling her or she's battling you. It's like you're battling your mental to make sure that y'all are together. To where you can run together. Like
Mm.
she tied her left leg to my right leg, and now we got to figure out how we're gonna be able to move forward because that's what it's like. It's like being tied to somebody, and you have to work together to get through it, and it's hard sometimes because I'm 280, you know, 280 and 5'10", you know what I'm saying? She about 5'3" and whatever, you know. If I stumble, guess what? She's going down. You know what I'm saying? So it has to be where she can use her leverage to keep me up, and I have to use my leverage to keep her up. And we just go. And mentally, I think we're doing a great job right now.
Amen. Listen, I love my practice at the end of the podcast, but I'll tell you what, you just surmised the whole situation. I love that. The analogy of tying the legs together, it's like a three-leg race. And if you don't move in the same stride, somebody falling. And if that person fall, guess who else is falling? You right? Like you both going down. And so I love that imagery. I love that analogy. And I want to end on something you just shared about how you noticed that she, was dealing with postpartum depression. And you noticed how it was changing and affecting her. And you decided that you were going to step up as much as you could in the time that you could. And when you realize it, this, I ain't got it. We ain't got it. Like, nope, you, and this is key because I think a lot of people, especially in the Black community, like they frown upon like mental health counseling and therapy. And so I want to applaud you for like identifying that, okay, this is bigger than both of us. Like you ain't well, I ain't well. Guess who also we ain't well collectively. And so we need to go outside of this and get help individually and collectively, right? And so I love that because I was going to ask you what's one practical people could do to create a safe space. And I think that's one of the places that oftentimes people don't, like they wait till it's too late. They wait till like words have been said that can't be taken back, deeds have been done that can't be undone. And then they're like, oh man, I wish I shoulda, woulda, coulda. And I'm like, but you saw it. And so I commend you for seeing it, right? This is what the MTA tells us in New York City. They say, if you see something, say something. You saw it and you said something, you did something, and now you're reaping the benefits. And so super grateful for you, brother. Any last words before we close out the podcast today, sir?
Um, Keep God first and communicate.
And that's it, folks. There you have it. Those are the two keys to a godly marriage. And we waited till season 2 to tell you.
Yeah.
Listen, from us here at the Godly Man's Marriage Podcast, I still do. We are super, super encouraged that you guys have trudged along the journey with us. Please keep coming back. We will be here again every Wednesday. We record. Sometimes we share with y'all what's happening. Sometimes we wait till later. But please do check us out. Previous podcast episodes, we've kind of seeded and mentioned seek self-care, face the blame, answer gently, and spouses first. They can all be found on our first season. Until next time, people, Jory O'Neill, Terrence D. Wilson, asking you to, hey, listen, keep God first and keep your